The book of Habakkuk finds the prophet crying out to God because of all the troubles he sees. And as we turn to chapter 2, it opens with these words: I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me, and what answer I am to give to this complaint. Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation, and make it plain on tablets, so that a herald may run with it. In other words, God is saying, write the vision down and make it plain. God has a plan for our lives. In Scripture, it is sometimes referred to as a vision. It works like a compass that will always point us in the right direction, and an anchor that will hold us steady in life's storms. Let's face it, there are storms. Why did God say, write down the revelation and make it plain? Because sometimes we bury our vision deep in our hearts to protect ourselves from the criticism of others. Fear causes us to set our vision out of sight so that we don't have to think about it. Sometimes we give up on our vision because it hurts too much and it costs too much to hold on to. So what should you do? First, you must have a vision that is clear and compelling. Second, you must keep your vision before you at all times. After experiencing painful rejection by his family and false accusation by his boss's wife, which resulted in 13 years of wrongful imprisonment, the Bible tells us in Genesis 42:9 that Joseph remembered his dreams about them and said to them, you are spies. You have come to see where our land is unprotected. Now that hardly seems fair to his brothers in a time of great need. But Joseph remembered the dream of his childhood and that God was using it to save his family. And he got in a little bit of human revenge in the process. But it led to the reuniting of Joseph with his entire family. Third, you must remember that God has scheduled a time for your dream to be fulfilled. In his conversation with Habakkuk, God continues, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. So we must find a balance between contentment and ambition. In Philippians 4, verses 10 through 13, the Apostle Paul writes, I rejoiced greatly in the Lord that at last you renewed your concern for me. Indeed, you were concerned, but you had no opportunity to show it. I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Paul never allowed himself to be upset with where he was at the moment, because he knew that God was with him at all times, and he was always looking forward to where God would take him. So, follow his example. Believe in your vision. Enjoy this day, filled with the knowledge that God has your future securely planned. Now, don't forget to bring in your cardboard toilet paper and paper towel rolls to the office this week. At last count, we still needed about 115 more. And pray for Grace Smith and our VBS team as they put all the last-minute touches on this year's VBS. VBS begins next Monday morning. Have a great day, and I'll see you again on Friday with more from the Word for You today.